Hello everybody, this is Curry here, and today I'm going to bring you a little bit of a review about Canvas Curse, Kirby Canvas Curse. Interestingly, I got this game back when it came out, got about halfway through it, traded it in for whatever reason. I can be a little impulsive sometimes, I know. Um, and then I got it back again in like 2010, started it, got to the last level, got stuck because I couldn't figure out where the other second button was, the green button. I couldn't figure it out. And then didn't come back to it until about a week ago. Started up again, and I actually beat it today, last night actually, finally. And I've got to say, after finally having beaten it, almost having gone through it 3 times pretty much, I actually am pretty happy with it. Um, I've noticed when it comes to Nintendo games that Kirby tends to be the one that they tend to be a little more experimental with. And I like that, like Kirby's Epic Yarn, like this, like not Nightmare Dreamland, Air Ride, like Superstar, among others. Kirby has a very interesting history, and all of them tend to be pretty good. And I was really impressed with this. It was a really good early game for the DS that took really good advantage of the features. Now I didn't use a microphone. You know, it did use the double screen pretty well. It wasn't like creative in the sense of Sonic Rush, but it was creative in the sense that it was showing you that, hey, like 2 screens can be useful because you don't have to pause. Never felt like I had to pause a game unless I needed to actually pause for a reason, you know? But I didn't need to access a menu, you know? I had my map on the top, any info I needed, and the bottom screen was my screen. It was all touchscreen, no buttons. So interestingly, you don't press a single thing. Unless you're pausing, which is a start button. You use a stylus, which is actually kind of neat. Based on the story, it actually has an explanation as you being the player who's helping Kirby, using this magical paintbrush, which is your stylus, and you draw lines. You draw rainbow bridges, I think they're called, or something like that. I forget actually. You didn't use the standard skin for the bridge, the lines, but essentially you draw lines. Kirby is a little ball that moves along. He usually rolls automatically. Sometimes he'll stop depending on the environment. You can click on him or tap on him, and then he does a little dash attack. But you don't have any control over him directly. You can make him dash. If he has a copy ability, then he can use the copy ability if you click on him. That's it. You actually guide him by using the lines. If you've played Ivy the Kiwi or seen that, it's kind of similar, but you actually, instead of making straight lines like Ivy the Kiwi, in this, you can make them however you want. You have a certain paint bar, which is your fuel on how much of a line you can draw, so you can't just like sit there, okay, draw. You know, you have to actually manage it out. It recharges over time based on where he is. And it's really cool. Simple concept, but they did a really good job of doing very interesting level design where you have, and remember, I want to emphasize, this is an early touchscreen based game. You know, nowadays we have plenty of games on the Android, iOS market, DS even, online on the DS, Vita. There's plenty of games that are similar to this type of style. But for its time, it was new, it was fresh, it was brilliant. So yeah, so you just, and the level design was cool because you have different, like, you'll have spikes surrounding you. You'll have where it's automatic scrolling, so you have to guide them through. Where you have to defeat enemies, among other things. There's different types of levels. Raising platforms, or something simple of just a wide open area and you need to explore it and then figure out where to go. Activate switches, things like that. It was really neat, and it really felt powerful using just the touchscreen. It was really neat. I liked it. The music was top notch. It's Kirby. Honestly, I've never had anything to complain about with the Kirby games. The music's great. A lot of neat little remixes of old games themes. If you've actually, excuse that, if you've actually played any of the older Kirby games, you'll actually notice some of them. Um, and it's cool because the boss battles are all touchscreen too, but they're all creative. Like you have one where it's just like a connect the dots, but you have to do it quickly in order to try to escape from a bomb in order to be able to get the bomb to the enemy first before yourself. And I'm not going to spoil the other boss battles. That's already one I spoiled out of 4. So they're all touchscreen based. The 3 boss battles are actually mini game based. So as a result, they're playable separate from the actual main game. Like once you actually beat them the first time, you have different levels where you can get high scores. The last boss is actually its own stage, which is really cool. Once again, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's very interesting because you can actually interact with certain parts of the environment by tapping on them, including some of the bosses and stuff. It's pretty cool how they did it. Very creative. The only one of the biggest issues I have with it. Oh, and visually, by the way, it looks great. Very colorful, very vibrant, but you can tell what everything is. There's distinguishing factors. I had this problem with Hatsune Miku where it's a rhythm game, but there's so many bright flashing colors that I can't tell exactly where the actual buttons are and what order things are going in, and sometimes I can get irritating. Not so in this game. This game, I know everything that's going on. Everything is very distinguishable. So that's great. Controls are tight. I mean, touchscreen is very responsive. At times it can be a little bit weird, and I'm playing on a 3DS XL, and originally I played on a DSi XL. When I played on the original DS, I had a little bit of trouble. So the smaller screen size, I can imagine that could be a little more challenging. If you have the bigger screen size with an XL, you'll be golden. So one of my biggest complaints was the amount of gameplay time. You know, I beat the game about 3-4 hours worth of time. You know, I just sat down every night, played through like one world. There's 7 worlds. And I was done really fast. You know, in 7 days. It took me like 10-15 minutes per world max to beat it. It's 3 levels per world, so you're looking at 21 levels plus the last boss level, which is 22. And then 3 bosses, 25. So 25 stages you're looking at total in the main game. You can go back to the stages and do time trial or line limit, like the amount of fuel you get is limited. You can do those 2 challenges, and there's medals hidden throughout each level also, and you'll get medals for doing the actual coming back to the levels and doing the time trial and rainbow, whatever it's called, cutting the fuel down. For doing those, you get medals, and with these medals, you can unlock upgrades, you can unlock bonuses, you can unlock different customizing options. It's actually pretty neat. They actually have a lot. So, replayability, while it's a little short, if you're a completionist like me, you'll actually find yourself playing the game quite a bit in order to get everything. Still, all in all, though, it is a reasonably short game. At the price you'd probably get it at now, fantastic. But at the full price, back when it was at launch, when I got it for 40 bucks, maybe not so much. But that being said, if you have access to a DS, any type of DS, DSi, 3DS, 2DS, I highly recommend it. It's very fun, very well done. It's a very good showcase of the early DS. And honestly, it's charming, it's fun, it's cool, and I can't complain about it in the end. But because of the downsides of it being a little bit short and the touchscreen not being 100% responsive, most of the time it's fine, but not always. And the third little problem is that if you're playing on a smaller screen, it can be a little bit challenging to kind of figure out what you're doing. Whereas on the XL, it's a lot nicer. Not everybody has XL. So as a result, I'd have to give this game a spiciness level of 8.